Hey there, thanks for tuning in to DuckBricks. I'm Chris, and today we are going to be counting down the top 10 rarest LEGO Marvel minifigures ever made. And to keep things interesting, this video will not be including any Comic-Con exclusives because I feel like then the list is basically which couple $1,000 minifigure is slightly more expensive than this $10,000 minifigure. Instead, I felt like I was a lot more curious in finding out what are the rarest Marvel minifigures that actually were included in retail sets. That is personally a much more interesting question for me, and hopefully something that would be interesting for this video as well. I also don't own every single Comic-Con minifigure LEGO's ever made. I own around 60 to 70%. I don't own them all yet, but I figured that if I'm gonna do a video counting all of them down and showcasing the minifigures on screen, I may as well actually have the minifigures I'm showcasing, so I figured, you know what, we're just doing it based off of the sets, and maybe at some point in the future, once I actually own all of the Marvel minifigures across all the Comic-Cons, then I'll do a follow-up video to this that includes pretty much every Marvel minifigure, regardless of whether or not they were an event exclusive. And so, with that, let's go ahead and take a look at the top 10 rarest LEGO Marvel minifigures that were not event exclusives, starting off with number 10. Okay, so coming in at our number 10 spot on the list, we have Iron Spider based on the comic books, which came in a set in 2015, set number 76037, Rhino and Sandman supervillain team up. This costs around $40 used or $51 new, making it, despite number 10 on this list, one of the more expensive LEGO Marvel minifigures. And the reason for that is because obviously Iron Spider is a really important minifigure to have from the comics, and the set it came in was honestly one of the weakest LEGO Marvel sets ever. It basically was just a broken up construction site that had a ton of really cool minifigures, but the set itself was not that great. So many people, including myself, passed up on this set when it first released and eventually had to get it from the aftermarket. In fact, I only personally just bought the minifigures secondhand. I don't even own the set myself because I really don't see a reason in owning it. It's just not that good of a set. However, the minifigure is a really solid one. Despite the minifigure being pretty simple in terms of printing, it is literally just metallic gold on red. I think they really accomplished a great design for the minifigure. If you see the gold reflecting in the light, you can see some nice designs and details even printed on the gold itself, which is really cool. And while this minifigure is really simple, it does represent a very important suit for Spider-Man in the comics for the Civil War arc. And of course, Spider-Man is very popular, which makes sense as to why this one is so rare. But since this is number 10, we still have a lot more to go, and let's move on to number 9. Moving on to number 9, we have the Ultimate Ultron minifigure. This came out in 2015 in 2 sets, although technically really only 1 set, set number 76032, which was the Avengers Quinjet City Chase, as well as the Throne of Ultron, which was a San Diego Comic-Con 2015 exclusive. So really for the general public, this only came in 1 set, and depicts Ultron's final form in the second Avengers movie. This minifigure goes for around $42 used, or $52 new, putting it just ever so slightly above Iron Spider. Funnily enough, it is also a minifigure released in 2015, and the reason why this one is so popular is because it is so unique and special. The head printing is actually uniquely printed, so you can see some kind of AI dots being printed on the head itself. It is not just a plain trans neon orange head, and this is a fully pearl silver minifigure, which is really specialized. I think it's so cool that LEGO actually made this fully pearl silver, and it does come with both head components for an Ultron minifigure, which I actually really do like. I feel like this was a really solid set of head molds for the character itself. You can see a very discernible mouth, and you can actually kind of just lift the head up and down if you kind of want to make it look like he's talking, so that is a really nice detail for this minifigure. Overall, LEGO really went all out for this. It is basically kind of like an Iron Man minifigure, so obviously those are very popular. We just put out a video on the top 10 rarest Iron Man minifigures, so it makes sense that this one would be on the list. And coming in at number 8, we have another villain. This is Hela from Thor Ragnarok. She only came in 1 set, set number 76084, which was the ultimate battle for Asgard, and depicts the main villain of Thor Ragnarok with a fully detailed headdress, cape, and sword. Now this minifigure goes for around $49 used or $53 new, making it a very expensive villain for Marvel, and probably for good reason, because this is a really nicely detailed minifigure. The most important thing about the figure itself is the unique rubberized head sculpt. This is one of the most unique and ornate LEGO headdresses that they've ever made for a single minifigure, and I really do love the details shown on it. It is such a unique element that obviously only appeared for this particular minifigure being fully rubberized, but it is so cool. I love how it was produced, and you can actually rotate the head around to showcase her face underneath. It did come with a hairpiece for the character as well, in case you wanted to display it without the headdress, which is a really nice touch. And if you want to see what the torso looks like without the cape, there's nice printing on the torso. You can kind of see the exposed shoulders for the minifigure itself. Despite the fact that it only has plain legs and really nothing else super special about the figure, this is so rare because Hela was a very memorable villain who probably will never appear again in the MCU outside of stuff like What If, but this is a really cool looking character, great headdress, unique head mold, and definitely one of the best produced Marvel villain minifigures. And coming in for our next spot on the list, we have Spider-Man 2099, aka Miguel O'Hara. Now this was a little bit ahead of its time. He came in a set from 2019, set number 76114, Spider-Man's Spider Crawler, which in and of itself was a very goofy looking, multicolored Spider-Man crawler vehicle, which was very similar to a set that we got for Legend of Chima, that also came with an exclusive Sandman as well as the Vulture and Spider-Man himself. But this was one of the most random, obscure LEGO comics-based Spider-Man sets, and at the time there wasn't a lot of interest around this particular figure. However, all of that changed very recently with Across the Spider-Verse, and now everybody is clamoring to get a Spider-Man 2099 figure, and that is why this one is so rare, coming in at $47 used, $59 new, and the price is going up each day, until that is LEGO puts another one of him in a set, which I'm really hoping they do sometime next year because it's high time we get another copy of him. Now, out of all the minifigures on this list, this is probably the simplest one in terms of design. It literally is just a standard minifigure. You've got the Spider-Man headpiece being used here, you have a nice print for the torso, and this is obviously very comics-based. It would be really nice to get an even more menacing one for Across the Spider-Verse, but it is a really simple-looking minifigure, just a dark blue printing, but it is very effective, and I feel like the popularity of the character, especially this year in 2023, has really caused the value of this figure to absolutely skyrocket. And coming in at our number 6 point, we have Ronan The Accuser, although this may change in a matter of months. You see, we are getting a brand new Ronan The Accuser minifigure next January for the LEGO Marvel Infinity Saga sets, so if it's anything like this one, I would imagine that the value of this minifigure would probably decrease by quite a lot as soon as we get a newer version. As of right now though, we are filming this in August of 2023, and the only way to get this minifigure was in the 2014 set number 76021, the Milano Spaceship Rescue, aka the original Guardians of the Galaxy spaceship. Now, Ronan the Accuser is an excellently produced minifigure. I really love the unique head sculpt they created for Ronan, and I'm so curious if they resurrect the mold for him next year, or if they just create an entirely new mold for the character himself. But he does have two different expressions, a very angry one on the back, and a more neutral one on the front. Here's what the back of the torso looks like with the Kree armor design, and while Ronan the Accuser wasn't the most exciting or engaging character in Guardians of the Galaxy, he was one of the more important ones. Appearing later on in Captain Marvel, I'm sure we will see Ronan again. Even though he is dead, he seems to keep on appearing in different pieces of Marvel media, so it makes sense why the character is so popular. But there you have it, Ronan the Accuser. Right now the value is $48 used or $64 new, which is absolutely bonkers, and I'm so curious if that will change come this time next year. You may not have seen this one coming, but coming in at number 5 we have Quicksilver from Age of Ultron. Now, Quicksilver is a really interesting case because this was a character that only appeared in Age of Ultron, and he also only appeared in one set, a retailer exclusive set, 76041, the Hydra Fortress Smash, making him one of the rarest LEGO Marvel superhero minifigures. He retails for around $66 used or $48 new, which is kind of weird to me how the new one is cheaper than the used one, although that may be just weird Bricklink price trickery going on. Overall though, still one of the rarest minifigures on this list, and the way that this is produced is honestly pretty simple. No printed legs, just plain unprinted black legs. I do like the headpiece used here, and it is our official Aaron Taylor Johnson LEGO minifigure with a unique headpiece, but pretty much the only really special thing about the figure is the head and the torso here, which the torso is nice looking, although to be honest, I never was the biggest fan of Quicksilver's suit in Age of Ultron. I definitely feel like it almost feels kind of just like athletic or sportswear, which I guess is kind of what they were going for, but I would have loved to see a wackier, comic-accurate suit. It is unlikely that we will ever see Quicksilver again as a minifigure unless they do an Infinity Saga set version of him for Age of Ultron, so that's why this minifigure is so rare, and I don't know if LEGO will ever release this version of the character ever again. Okay, and coming in for our number 4 pick on the list, we have Iron Patriot, aka Colonel Rhodes, and this is a really interesting figure. This was released in 2013 as a supplemental pre-order bonus for the LEGO Marvel Superheroes game. It was set number 30168, called Gun Mounting System Polybag, which was basically just this minifigure with a little bit of a gun mounting system. Now this is so rare because this is our only Iron Patriot minifigure we have ever gotten. I'm kind of shocked we haven't ever gotten another one. Sure, we've gotten more War Machine minifigures, but this is a really special one to get for the Iron Patriot look and feel, and this one is particularly expensive at $49 used or $84 new, which is absolutely insane. The head underneath is just the Iron Man 3 Colonel Rhodes head, so you can see that's what the head print looks like on the front and the back, which you can see right there. I do love the printing used for the helmet. You have silver and dark red and dark blue being printed onto the helmet itself, which is really specialized for a character like this, and you can actually remove the gun here to see the back of the suit has some nice markings on it for the Iron Patriot suit itself, from a star to some of the specialized details on the armor. Now this is a very similar minifigure to the War Machine minifigure we got for Iron Man 3. They literally just took that minifigure and kind of transplanted it with a different color scheme, which makes sense because that's pretty much how it went down in the movies as well, but I just really love the design of this figure. The color scheme is really cool, and I really hope that at least one of these days we will get the Iron Patriot suit as seen in Avengers Endgame, because I would love to get that as a minifig as well. We have the Scarlet Spider. Now this is popular for a number of reasons. First of all, the Scarlet Spider arc in the comics, aka Ben Reilly, is one of the most popular arcs in all of Marvel Comics. Definitely one of the most controversial as well with the Clone Saga, but definitely a character that a lot of people want to get their hands on, and he also appeared as kind of a supporting character in Across the Spider-Verse, which made this minifigure even more popular and expensive than he already was very recently. Now this only came in the 2016 set number 76057, Spider-Man Web Warriors Ultimate Bridge Battle, which many have stated is one of the best Marvel sets ever for good reason. Now, we did get another version of this character, a short-legged Scarlet Spider, for a Mighty Micro set in 2018. That one isn't honestly worth much at all because that is a more juniorized and cartoonish version of the character. This is kind of the de facto version of the character itself, but I still think it is a really cool-looking minifigure. You've got the arm gauntlets, which are very recognizable for the minifigure printed on the sides of the arms. This was back in 2016 when LEGO was really doing a ton of arm printing for a ton of minifigures across superheroes, which was very cool. And if you remove the hood piece, you can see nice hood printing on the back here, metallic silver belt. This is also one of the only times we got the wild style LEGO Movie hood piece in blue, so that is super special to get. And overall, the minifigure is actually really well produced, especially with printing on the side of the arms, and there's a reason why it is so rare and expensive, because I don't really know when the next time we might get one of these figures will be. The minifigure itself retails for around $55 used or $72 new, making it one of the most expensive items on this list. For our number 2 spot on the list, we have the Mark 39 Star Boost armor, aka Space Iron Man. This is actually a suit that appeared as number 3 on our top 10 rarest LEGO Iron Man figures list, but reappears in this one because it is just one of the rarest Marvel figures in general, at least for the ones that were included in sets themselves. Also released for Comic Space sets in 2016, this came in set number 76049, Avenjet Space Mission, and this essentially is supposed to be the Mark 39 Star Boost Iron Man from the MCU. Again, there are some changes like the shape of the arc reactor and whatnot, but this is basically supposed to be the Star Boost Iron Man from the MCU, and this is also one of my favorite suits. In fact, as we go into the top 3 suits on this list, we're basically hitting a lot of my favorite suits they've ever made for Iron Man. Now this one is really special because it is an all-white Iron Man outfit, which is really cool. Again, has that clear head underneath, but it's such a solid design for the Star Boost suit itself. You have a very crisp color scheme of white, some gunmetal gray, and a lot of gold as well being utilized for the color scheme. And this does use a kind of jetpack backpack on the back here, but I really do like how the back printing showcases some of the back exhausts, which allow you to kind of soar through space, which is very, very cool how they actually have that corresponding to the transparent clear neck bracket included for the minifig as well. This is one of the rarest standard set Iron Man minifigures. In fact, out of all the minifigures that appeared in regular LEGO sets, this is the rarest, coming in at $53 used or $72 new, which goes to show just how popular this version of Iron Man is, and for good reason. It's a really cool looking suit, it's one of the favorites that I have in my collection, and I absolutely love this figure. And coming in at the #1 rarest LEGO Marvel minifigure ever, we have the Silver Centurion, which was actually the second rarest Iron Man minifigure ever made on our top 10 rarest LEGO Iron Man minifigures video. The Silver Centurion released in 2016, and this had a few special stipulations behind its release. Specifically, this came as a pre-order exclusive for the Marvel Avengers LEGO game, which was kind of the second LEGO Marvel game they put out, which was based on the MCU, which is why this is so rare. Despite the fact that this released in 2016, around 2019-2020, LEGO actually put out this again, or GameStop did a promotion where they basically were clearing out old stock, and you could just show up to a GameStop store and just ask for one of these and get it either for free or get it for like a few dollars, which is a very interesting thing for GameStop to have done. I think they just found extra promo around 2020, but that absolutely did nothing to hamper the value of this minifigure, which is around $68 used or $100 new. Definitely one of the rarest set exclusive Iron Man minifigures. Now this does actually come with a unique face, so I'm going to go ahead and lift up the facial print here, and you can see that he does have the bruised facial expression, which was from Captain America Civil War, and then a completely different expression on the other side, a smiling one, which is very unique for this version of Iron Man. One of the coolest things to me about this Iron Man is that this kind of revolutionized a lot of the things that they could do with an Iron Man suit. First of all, you may notice that they have metallic silver printing on the sides of the helmet, which is unlike anything they did for the Iron Man helmet to date, and pretty much that was really unique for this figure to make the faceplate just feel a little bit more of a different shape when it's placed onwards. What this minifigure also does is introduce the LEGO Legends of Chima armor piece. However, they actually were able to recolor different pieces of the Chima armor piece, where you can see it is silver and dark red, which is, again, this is the only time they ever did that for this piece, adding a special color to these side pauldrons, which is so interesting. I did not even know they could do that. And you can even see that they have printed a 1x1 tile for the arc reactor, which looks fantastic there. And on the back here, you have a dark red and silver printing for a 1x2 tile, which continues alongside the entire minifigure itself, where you can see the minifigure is sporting absolutely incredible printing. Dual molded arms with printing on the side of the arms and printing on the side of the legs. Just a stunning minifigure, absolutely decked out in some of the best printing possible, and easily the best produced Iron Man suit LEGO has ever made to date, bar none. This is the coolest Iron Man minifigure for me. I love the color scheme, I love the production value. It is just simply fantastic. And with that, we have summed up our look at the top 10 rarest LEGO Marvel minifigures ever made, at least for the ones that are not event exclusives. Let me know down in the comments below, do you own any of these minifigures? Which are your favorites? I certainly have several favorites of my own. But thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed, and be sure to like and subscribe for even more LEGO news, reviews, discussion, and analyses coming your way very soon. And bye for now.